Okay, so I wanted to make a video that had to do with um, my past self, like my karmic state, and some of the things that going through my journey and stuff like that, I realize now that other people around me may do, or you may catch yourself doing this. Um, no matter what it was, when I was in a miserable state of being, because I was so frustrated, not only with myself, but the way I interacted with other people around me and how they interacted with me, it really got me thinking that I need to make a video because there's some people present, like currently right now, that may be experiencing this. And I just wanted to give some clarity to it. When you have certain unresolved things within yourself, it's going to manifest outwards. So the people around you are going to be like a mirror. They are going to show you things about yourself. They're going to trigger you possibly. They're going to try to get reactions out of you, whether willingly or knowingly, sorry, or unknowingly, consciously or subconsciously. They may be energetically even interacting with you, and sometimes this may be triggering. And I used to, when I was in a karmic state, I used to take things really personally. And some people would say, oh, you're just really sensitive and stuff like that, but it goes far beyond that. And let's say normally a person would move your bag over to a corner just to put it out the way. Now, their logic and reasoning is maybe they're sweeping a floor, maybe they're just moving it out the way, or somebody decides to shift you around on a schedule, or somebody decides to, instead of putting you first all the time, now you're in the middle or something like that. These are just small examples that I could give to get you to better understand what I'm talking about. Most people that are not bothered or triggered by it wouldn't think twice about it. They're okay, go with the flow. I'm gonna now, okay, I'll go get my bag from over there, no big deal. Or okay, and then sometimes they'll even get the explanation or clarity afterwards. When they just let it go, they don't even care. And then the lady's like, oh yeah, by the way, I moved it because I was sweeping the floor. Oh yeah, we had to make some shifts and stuff. So you didn't react at that point, and there was no issue, there was no problem. And then that allowed clarity to come into you without any question. However, when you're already frustrated and things are kind of bubbling up inside you and stuff like that, and you're already irritated, you're already agitated, and as some people would say, your demons are kind of causing you problems. um, those little things that happen in your everyday life will be triggers. And the problem with that is that once one starts, it almost gives you like, um, it almost piggybacks off the other one. So every time you're agitated and irritated about an actual different reason altogether, there's going to be moments throughout your day that are going to trigger you, and because you're not looking at the source of the issue, right? So it's almost like an excuse, an external excuse to, um, what would you call that, to for the misplaced anger, to direct it at something else so that you don't, even if you're not even fully aware of this, because I know at certain times in my karmic state I wasn't even aware of it. I just reacted purely out of emotion. No thinking, no logic, nothing like that. It was just like a slight towards me. It's just like a negative thing done towards me. It's victim mentality. 100% will admit I used to be like that daily. And then once you start to figure out that this is actually coming from a root source of something, and you go back and you trace it back, when's the first time you were triggered? When's the first time that happened? How old were you? What was the current circumstance? What was your part in it that you took, right? Nobody else, is just your part in it, your place in it. And get the clarity, get the closure, heal that, move forward, drop the baggage, no longer a trigger. Next time there's a situation, you'll realize, oh, that's not a big deal. Oh, that doesn't bother me. Somebody's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to bump you. And you're like, it's okay. Or I'm so sorry, I didn't know that I was cutting in line or something. And you're like, not bothered at all. You will realize that the triggers are there for you to learn the lesson about yourself that you need to learn, whether or not somebody's purposefully doing it to you. because there's going to be people out there that are resonating at a level of childlike mentality, especially when they want attention, right? And they're purposely going to trigger you because they want your attention. Positive or negative, it doesn't matter. It's still attention. They want it, right? And they're going to do whatever it takes to get your attention. So, again, I'm going to state, if you're going through a karmic kind of living right now, meaning you get up in the morning and you feel like the whole world's against you, even if it was, it's all going to come down to how you react and respond, how much you've healed, how much you've went within, how many lessons you've learned, what kind of baggage you've dropped, the kind of clearing up of cycles and ending cycles, and preparing yourself once you make space for new to come in. Giving yourself that clarity gives you closure, so you're not so anxiety ridden. There's some people just functioning straight out of fight or flight and anxiety on a regular basis. When I was in my karmic state, it used to feel like everything was a slight against me. It used to feel like certain people, even if they did do it, they were doing it not for the reason I may have thought. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily as malevolent as I would picture it in my mind to be. Some people maybe they're the real assholes, but those are the ones that are usually hurt the most too, and they feel power and control when they get reactions out of other people emotionally, especially those that are more sensitive, especially those that haven't done as much healing and that are either sensitive to energy or anything like that, or have unhealed triggers. You know what I'm saying? And they do target people such as that. And I used to be one of them because it was very easy to gain control over somebody else and feel in that sense of power when they felt a lack of power within themselves or over their own current status in life or anything they were personally going through. You have to understand yourself so that you get clarity to understand another person. When you do that, it's no longer going to be a trigger. The more you understand yourself like a mirror, the more you will understand another person, even if they're trying to step on your toes, even if they're trying to purposefully rile you up or doing things to sabotage you. The way you react now, it's not even going to compare to when you were in your karmic, docile, almost brainwashed state. It's not even going to be close. You'll realize how much things flow, how many more opportunities come in, how positive you stay, how high your vibrational frequency can be held, and you stand in your own. You will be able to set boundaries for yourself when people do overstep, and you're allowed to voice your truth. You're allowed to stand up for yourself, your inner child. You're allowed to speak your truth and say what you need to say, but not without full understanding. Take a moment to reflect inwards before you speak. And I have to remember this myself, especially being on a platform like this or putting anything out there. I am held accountable for the words that I speak. And there's times where I will even be put in my own situation to reflect back on what I said if I hadn't learned the full lesson. Meaning karmically, I purposefully call in and manifest from my higher self situations that may be uncomfortable for me so that I get full clarity of the situation, even though I have previously spoke about a subject but didn't grasp the full concept or didn't understand the full meaning or get the full lesson. Maybe I learned half of it. I spoke about it on here because I was excited and passionate to share with other people what I learned, but I didn't fully comprehend the whole thing. So I purposefully manifest and call in that situation in my life. Yes, this sounds ridiculous. Some people would be like, why would you purposely do that to yourself? Because I want to learn. I already made a promise to myself to learn as much as I can, to heal as much as I can, so that I have the control over me, nobody else. So that I remain in control of my energy, my gifts, my powers, my talents, whatever you want to call it, so that nobody else can do or say or have or manipulate me in any way. I made that choice. So yes, it seems a little effed up, but I do. I will consciously or subconsciously, because I've made an agreement with myself to put myself in certain situations if I haven't fully learned the lesson. And every time I learn the lesson, it's another bit of baggage I get to drop. The lighter I feel, the more clarity I get, the more at peace I am, the more I can hold my high vibrational state, and the less I'm triggered by other people around me. I used to be triggered a lot. And if you're going through life and you feel like everybody's against you and there's certain things running through your mind and your demons are agitated, those are usually wounds, and it just seems like everybody's picking at you or everybody's coming at you and everybody's targeting you, start to understand that your reactions also teach other people, and your boundaries need to be set and learned, and your love for self needs to be held above all else. That's how you make it out of that hell, because it's very, very toxic and it's very painful. And I don't wish it upon my worst enemy, but there's people right now on a daily basis going through this. And you need to understand, you don't worry about nobody else around you, what they're doing. There's usually a reason for it, but regardless, you worry about yourself, how you react, what you learn, what you take away from that, your actions, your words, your thoughts, everything. That's the only thing you have to worry about. Everything else falls into place. I promise you. You can hold that against me. You can come back to this very video, watch it again. And if I'm wrong, you can put in the comments, you're fucking wrong. I tried what you said, you're fucking wrong. But just remember, the ego's also there. And that was to prevent us from getting hurt in the past. It doesn't necessarily help us grow. It keeps us stuck and stagnant. Why? Because that's in our mind more of safe way of living. Not necessarily when you get to a certain age, you get to a certain state and it's time to change. Your ego kind of needs to have a death and a rebirth. It's just a new way of thinking. It's not a bad thing. It's painful, but it's not a bad thing. Gotta go through it. What's your part? Okay? Big hugs. My inner child sends you big, big, big hugs. Big hugs. She loves you so much. And she's very grateful you come to this channel and listen to the words that I'm speaking, because they're important, not only to her, but to me. Thank you.